All right, hey guys, we're back. Another quick little tutorial. I was gonna kind of build upon the beat that we were working on, the real simple, just kick snare type thing. But I also wanted to elaborate a little bit on the next thing that people kind of ask me about, which is sidechaining. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit to this little pattern first, just to kind of spice it up a little bit. So I'm gonna add actually a little hi-hat. Yeah, here. It's just added on the kick and snare first, just to kind of bring some life to the loop. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, so kind of blends into everything, but let's just double it up. Start giving the loop a little rhythm. So interestingly enough, there is a fun little thing you could do if you switch the grid to a triplet grid. Start playing around with some like little triplet-y type things. Let's see if we could do something fun. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So see what that sounds like. So I'm actually going to dub that. Cool. So now we've got a nice little... So it kind of adds like a little shape, a little shuffle. So anyways, switch that back. All right. So the next thing we need to do is just add some basic little chordy type things to kind of talk about the side chaining. So I'm going to insert a MIDI track. Let's go plugins. I love Nexus. So I'll just leave it on the initial preset. Kind of turn it down a little bit because it's always loud. All right, so let's just do a quick little add a MIDI clip. All right, so we'll talk about it a little bit later, but we'll just start with a quick little chord. We'll make this C minor, excuse me, and then whoop. And then let's go up to like F maybe. So. Okay, so real simple. Let's see if we can get a better sound out of Nexus so we can kind of, some kind of pad or something, I guess. What do we got? EDM. It's fun. Synth. Oh, here we go. Big saw. Let's see what that sounds like. Oh, not bad. Sounds really, really thin though. So let's actually bring this down. Okay. So real simple chords. We just went C to F. We just went a fifth. All right, so let's talk about a little bit about the side chaining. Okay, so side chaining is literally very simple. It's just automating the volume of a certain sound to make room for another sound. So it's used a lot in dance music, electronic music, and more predominantly in modern music, just because it's so easy to do in a DAW as opposed to live. So there's a couple of different ways of doing it. Actually, there's probably 1,000 different ways of doing it, but I'm going to show you a couple. So the first one, using all stock stuff here in Ableton, and then there are some third-party plugins that you can use. A great one by Extra Records, Steve Duda made. And then I think just about everybody copied his and made their version of it. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at just a basic compressor. So, get rid of my search. And what are we looking for? Audio effects, compressor. All right. So here we got just a basic compressor. If you see over here, this little box says sidechain, we're going to click that, and it's asking for an input. So where is it getting its information from? So we want it to be coming from over here, from the kick in this case. Again, you can sidechain it from any sound. I notice in a lot of dubstep, things like that, people will sidechain from the snare, or a lot of times when you're doing vocal, another quick trick is to sidechain the reverb from the actual vocal itself. So as the person's talking, it makes more room for the vocal, and then as they take a breath, then the reverb kind of swells back up and kind of creates a little bit of movement. So that's another thing you can do. But anyways, back to our little thing here. So let's just go input from the kick, and what we're going to see is we bring the threshold down. Okay, so we can adjust how it's actually responding now, of course, with the attack and the release. The attack is gonna, just like it sounds, how soon it's gonna react once it hears that initial sound. So it's getting the transient from the kick and it's saying, hey, push the volume down, right? How fast it's doing that is the attack. So we're gonna put that all the way down in this case, so you're gonna hear it just immediately. Right? And the release is almost the opposite of that, where how long is it going to take until it actually starts to release that volume back to where it needs to be, or where it originally was, right? So you can play around with that as well. Really long time, really short time. Okay. So I like to kind of play around with it a little bit, like 0.5 milliseconds usually sounds pretty good for me, and then I play around with the release. Let's try autos. So you can see it's kind of making room for that kick. So let's see what other versions of that we can do. There are some third-party plugins. So let's go to X4 Records LFO. This is my favorite one. So this is kind of a graphical representation of the same exact thing. So as you can see, it kind of goes left to right. So when you hit the, let's just kind of put all these up. We'll start off here. Not hearing anything, right? There's actually some presets that are really cool. If you look in here, you can see sidechain. Sidechain 1 is very simple. So very light. If you pull all the way down, then you're dropping all the way out. So as you notice, it's actually hitting even though the kick isn't hitting, because it's not taking any information from the kick now. We're actually just using it on time. So in this case, we're doing 1 times. So if you double that up, see what you get. And you can kind of play around with timing and do some off time stuff, which is really interesting. But we'll go back to just the 1. Actually, if we go down to half, what does that do? So it's taking basically where the kick and the snare are on the half. So, So that's one very beautiful plugin that has 1,000 of other things you can do with it. You can actually start filtering off what frequencies that you want to stay or which ones you want to duck out. There's a whole slew of other things that it can do. You can actually get musical with this plugin. It's amazing. Definitely recommend it. The other one was Nicky Romero's Kickstart. Use this one all the time as well. A little more simple. It's really more for just plain sidechaining. So again, here we go. We're on a 4th. Play around with the shapes. And maybe you don't want it to actually duck all the way out. That's where this mix big knob comes into play. So there you have it. Quick 3 different ways of getting your sidechain working for you and getting some of those sounds out of the way, cleaning up your mix a little bit. So if you got any more questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. Otherwise, I will see you guys soon. Thanks again. Bye.